The Wicked One known as Kindred continues to plot and scheme against Peter Parker. Not even his dreams are safe from this new mysterious villain. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 44 and find out together. Well, alrighty then, as the comic opens up, we see Peter Parker tossing and turning one night in bed while the internal monologue, which is blue, the same color as Kindred, talks about how happy they are that Peter and him can be together again. Just the two of them spending quality time, and again, this sort of internal monologue is really up for interpretation. What does it mean? Is this even a guy saying this? We don't know. As weird as that gets, it's only the beginning, because after that, Spider-Man finds himself riding shotgun next to Overdrive. You'll remember him as one of the less compelling members of the Sinister Six. A superpowered wheelman with the ability to turn anything he touches into an escape vehicle. He was actually a pretty big player in, you guessed it, Nick Spencer's own Superior Foe, so it's not surprising to see him here. Though I will admit it's pretty damn funny to see him only get a supporting role this big in a dream. Or is it a dream? We don't know. As Overdrive tells Spider-Man he got really in over his head on his last job. He was driving Getaway for a group of inner demons, the masked gangsters who work for Mr. Negative, though they do not mention their boss in this story. Overdrive had lost a lot of faith in their abilities early on when they killed no less than 12 cops escaping from what was supposed to be just a simple smash and grab cash robbery. And now he's beginning to wonder what's stopping them from simply killing him once his job is done and they're all safely over the border. Tensions get very high, but before things can bubble over, another party enters the fray, but not just any party though. The Sin Eater, aka former New York cop Stanley Carter, turned violent serial killer and supervillain. He had died, but seemingly Kindred brought him back from the fires of hell and set him loose on the city. But you're saying, hey Joel, I've read lots of comics. This isn't even the first time they've brought the Sin Eater back from hell. How is he any different or more frightening this time? Well, he's not human anymore. He seems to be an actual demon walking around in people skin. Overdrive even goes as far as to say this guy was so terrifying for once he actually wished that he bumped into the Punisher. Sin Eater kills the inner demons and Overdrive only manages to escape because he's able to turn a dollar bill into a hand glider. Seriously, why don't people tell more stories about this guy? He's hilarious. He could be Marvel's Kite Man. Overdrive managed to escape, but his problems only begun that night. You see, Sin Eater never actually stopped following Overdrive, and because he's not human anymore, he's some sort of paranormal specter. He just keeps showing up everywhere that Overdrive looks. In fact, Overdrive's been going on 3 days now with no sleep, just driving around the city trying to escape his fate, but he's never pushed his powers this far before, and he knows it's only a matter of time before they give out. And indeed, that's exactly what happens. Right around the same time, Sin Eater gets the drop on Overdrive and Spider-Man, letting into their vehicle with his trademark shotgun. It's right around the time Peter feels his bones crunching and his skin being slashed by broken windshield glass that he ends up coming to in his apartment. Now, after such a horrible nightmare, Peter feels that he needs to hear a friendly voice, and as such, he decides to call up Mary Jane, who's away right now in Hollywood continuing her career. Peter actually opens up in a way that he never has before. He spills his guts about his hopes and dreams, his fears, the life he wants to build with MJ, the life he's always been serious about. He talks about how he needs her now more than ever, and that while the world may always need Spider-Man to protect it, Peter will always need an MJ to remind him to take off the mask. To live that part of his life to the fullest. We're also reminded too that Peter had gotten a ring for MJ a couple arcs back, but has yet to have the chance to propose. Unfortunately, it's right around here that Peter starts barfing up a bunch of bugs and other insects. Oh no, Kindred gotcha, dream within a dream. Or again, was it? Kindred says that other stuff with Overdrive totally happened. But moreover than that, Kindred very cryptically says Peter Parker needs to stop wasting his time trying to figure out who Kindred is and try to figure out what they want and why. And just to further up the ante, Kindred says it's not just Peter Parker who's going to be affected by any of this. As the comic winds down, we get a little splash page showing us Mary Jane as well as Miles, Spider-Gwen, and a few others. And it's on that note right there the comic comes to a close, everybody. And so that was Spider-Man issue number 44, and I enjoyed enjoyed it. It was a fun, creepy little one and done. Yes, the whole story basically ended up being a dream, or is it? Question mark. I do appreciate Kindred at least, lampshading that fact and even breaking the fourth wall a little bit, saying that a dream within a dream is cheap storytelling. And as always, every time Kindred opens their mouth, we're given a lot more information to run with as to who they might very well be. They continue to sound like a jilted lover. Personally, I think resurrecting the Sin Eater is a bit of a red herring to make us all think Jean DeWolf or someone similar from that era. Honestly, I think Nick Spencer is a big enough fan with such a wealth of knowledge that when the person is ultimately revealed, a lot of us are going to go, wait, who? Only to wiki it and be like, oh yeah, that person. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7 out of 10. It's a fun little one and done, but I'm interested to see the next arc start up more.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.